Hi all, thanks for viewing. Day 2 is about product. If Qlik is your thing, please subscribe and you will see all my videos as they are published. James started with a history lesson on Qlik. This year is Qlik's 30th anniversary. In 1993 it was called QuickView, Q-U-I-K View. This soon changed to become QlikView with version 2. By 2007, we were up to QlikView 8. For reference, that is when the iPhone was first released. It was also about a year after I started using Qlik. 2014 brought the release of Qlik Sense, followed by Qlik Catalog and Qlik Data Integration. Qlik Cloud became the central focus, and by 2022, cloud-based data integration was up and running. 2023 brings a full-featured integration and analytics tool in the cloud. With over 20,000 apps open daily and growth in active users, sending reports and using automations, Qlik Cloud is on a roll. One of the key aspects of growth is that Qlik seeks input from its users. Over 80% of updates are the results of ideation from the Qlik community. The link to ideation is in the description in the video. Come on, have your say. Qlik and Talend will soon be one. Both companies are owned by Thoma Bravo. James indicated with this slide the aim to bring the two companies together. He was clear to indicate that Qlik will not force Talend users to use Qlik for analytics. Integration will allow the use of whatever analytics tool the client wants. Even before the acquisition, Talend and Qlik can and do work together in the integration space. Josh gave a demo of using Stitch by a Talend to land and process data from Salesforce. This data can be registered and then QDI can use it for integration. Josh highlighted Stitch connectivity with sources such as Workday and Google. The registered source data can be used in analytics apps, can be used to create transformations and create data marts for analytics ready data. Josh talked about Qlik Connector Factory, an internal team dedicated to rapidly respond to customer connectivity requirements, and a new technology that's used by that team to expedite delivery. These cloud-based transformations can be non-materialized views and used to create Type 2 data. Josh demonstrated the creation of a DM, a data mart, and did that in just a few clicks. The Talend Trust Score helps us to focus on data quality. Josh demoed improving the validity. You can see it here at 91%. And what he found was that there are a number of first names that have been entered in all caps. He showed how to correct this as one of the transformations. Data quality and trust really go together, and Josh demoed using Qlik Data Automation to pull in all of the relevant trust scores and then produce a dashboard that showed data quality and therefore trust. Data integration as a service is really what Qlik is using in the cloud, and what they're aiming for is best in class for each of these areas: connectivity, movement and ingestion, transformation, quality and governance, and then wrapping around that API services and orchestration. Qlik has delivered a vast number of improvements in the data integration space. There's an overview of the things that were added in 2022. Some of the ones that I was particularly impressed with was the field-based lineage, the ability to support Type 2 data marts, and application automation, of course, is fantastic. And here are the plans for 2023. The intention is to extend ability from sources through to transformations and then into a variety of targets. There is renewed attention to the catalog. The next slide highlights the catalog as the starting point in the path to analytics. And you can see that here in this slide. Driving trusted business-ready data from catalog makes lots of sense, and it makes it easy for developers to create content and discover insights, then help drive action and collaboration. And this is what was delivered last year in analytics. Lots of things in here. AutoML, obviously a big one. The simplified authoring has been made life a lot simpler for people. Reporting using PowerPoint. Lots of enhancements to the Insight Advisor. Mobile improvements as well. If you're not using the mobile app and you're on cloud, you should be. The direct access gateway and the direct queries have made it much easier to grab data from on-prem sources. And of course, in the US, Qlik Cloud government's been a big piece, not so important here in Australia. And here's what's coming in 2023. In all honesty, it's around further enhancing some of the new things that I think will be important. On top of those enhancements, Excel authoring will make life a lot simpler for people trying to get data sets out. And fine-grained security, I'm not quite sure what that's going to mean, but I think that will be very powerful for us when it comes. It kind of harkens back to the finer grain that you can have in Qlik Sense when you're on-prem. And some new regions. I think I heard the UK, Germany, and one other that I can't quite remember. Josh came on and talked then about upskilling of users, and the first thing that he looked at was simplified authoring. I have a YouTube on simplified authoring, so I'll add that to the description inside the YouTube if you want to go back and have a look at that. It really makes life a lot simpler in a couple of ways. When we used to develop things without this, we'd be running across and looking at the data sources separately, and that made life a little bit complicated for us. Here it's all in the one place, makes life simple, and it's very visual when you do these things, and it's all drag and drop. The next piece of upskilling that Josh talked about was helping users to understand and create different analytics views. And you can see down the bottom here we've got create analysis, and you can look at the suggestions down here. Again, I've got a video on this one, so I'll add it to the description so that you can have a deeper look if you haven't seen it and used it before. Josh really likes the k-means scatter plot, and he built one of those in a couple of seconds. Just needed to choose two measures and a dimension, and it was built. And also there was some ability in there to show some descriptive words around it. And to further that, there's a new visualization that can be added into your apps. It's called the new natural language generation visualization, and it will do what you used to be able to see in Insight Advisor. You can see that in your apps as well, which is really good stuff. Josh also gave a little bit of a demonstration of building a report and then showing how to subscribe to that report so that it gets sent on a regular basis. That's nice and easy. I've got one that runs every day for me. I really like it. It gives me some insights into earthquakes, believe it or not. And key drivers is something that's coming. Josh described it as coming soon, and then somewhere else in the presentation coming later in the year. I guess both those things can be the same. And essentially, you can click on an object and select key drivers, and then inside the Insights Advisor area, the key driver calculation will be made, and you can then go and add it. You'll see it over on the right hand side. It says fields, master items, and then key drivers. That's where it's shown. And continuing on from key drivers, it will then show you the key drivers to whatever the number is that's being generated. In this case here, you can see the territory, and the next one I think is price period usage. Or it could be prior period usage, are the two key drivers, and that can be drilled further just like you can in anything in Qlik. You can choose another field, and in this case we chose territory, and when we drill into territory we can see which particular states the key drivers are most active in. Okay, Josh then went through an AutoML demonstration, and this is a pretty standard one. There's a data set inside Qlik that does this. I've done a YouTube video on this, so I'll link to this one as well. And in this case, we're looking for AutoML on churn. Josh has selected the churn piece here, and as he does that, the return to that gives the factors, algorithms, and importance of the calculations. All these details tell us why the customer is churning. And then he deployed this particular application, and he chose real-time API access, and that allowed this kind of chart to be produced. And this is basically a scatter plot. On the left-hand side, those customers that are likely to stay, and on the right-hand side in red, the ones that are likely to churn. His description said probably look in the middle here for ones that may or may not churn and see if you can help them. And he went down to a single customer and then identified the pieces that were causing the churn. And you can see those down the bottom there. It's the plan type and the number of penalties. So then Josh went back into an application that allowed him to explore and experiment with these factors and to see what prediction could come up. And doing that, it was kind of counterintuitive, but according to the application, a change of plan type and an increase in the price, or the base fee, actually reduced the churn likelihood down. Now, the last part that Josh showed was around ChatGPT. Now, remember that there's no guarantee that these will become part of the product. He talked about not wanting to share company data to ChatGPT. And so he showed 3 use cases that he thought made sense, or that Qlik thought made sense at this time. The first of those was getting additional data. The second was helping with Qlik syntax, and the third was populating specific analysis into Inside Advisor. So let's have a look at those. Going to look for more data under this experiment that Qlik's running with ChatGPT. There's an extra tab here called Find Data, and when that's selected and some words are typed, those words go out to ChatGPT, and then the data came back for Josh. Now, he then incorporated that and dropped it into the catalog. And when he did that, one of the interesting things is that ChatGPT had come back with some description of the data set, and that appeared inside the app. The second thing that Josh showed was helping with syntax, and this was the number of disasters. He typed in there with 2 forward slashes, which we always think means a comment, and that triggered a request to ChatGPT, hey, can you help me write the code for this one? And there it is. And then he extended that one just to say number of disasters for floods or flood, and it wrote the set analysis that was needed. That could make life a lot simpler for some people that aren't very experienced with Qlik syntax and with set analysis, which can get a bit tricky. Okay, the last thing was the ability to use that data set and have Inside Advisor generate new visualizations. And if you look into this screenshot here, you'll see the second visualization. There's frequency analysis, and then there's damage analysis. So that relates directly to the data set that ChatGPT generated and that was incorporated into this particular application. And it was pretty cool because it did that, and then it also gave some further suggestions on where to look next and how that analysis could be extended. As always, I'm at the end of the video now. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe, share, like, make comments. All those things are fantastic.